Now, stress is another big problem. It is also called the executive's disease because executives are more vulnerable to it. But today it is all pervading. Everybody is stressed out because the world has speeded up so much. How will you overcome stress at work? Now, stress is another big problem. It is also called the executive's disease because executives are more vulnerable to it. But today it is all pervading. Everybody is stressed out because the world has speeded up so much. About 100 years ago, John Rockefeller, he was the wealthiest man in the world. And on one day he had a business decision to make. Goods of the Standard Oil Corporation, of which he was chairman, had to be transported from Houston to Chicago by railroad. The question before John Rockefeller was, should I get them insured or not? Insurance would have cost $150. Should I spend it or save it? So he decided to take the risk and save it. Now, when the train left Houston station, news came of a storm that had developed on the way, and he caught his head. Oh my God! Penny wise and pound foolish, I'm going to now lose tens of thousands of dollars. So he decided to use his clout. He went to the insurance company's office that let me purchase a policy now. The office was closed for the evening, but he forced them to come back. Because of his long-term relationship, they obliged and gave him the policy. And at midnight, he walked out of the office with the policy with a relief. Next morning, he got the news that the train had reached Chicago station intact. He had in fact wasted his $150. That stressed John Rockefeller so much that till 2 p.m. in the afternoon he was striding up and down in his room. And that stress began to tell on his health. And doctors warned him that if he did not change his lifestyle, he would not live more than 3 years longer. That was also the time when Swami Vivekananda met John Rockefeller. So, of course, whatever the exchange, John Rockefeller did make changes. He instituted the Rockefeller Foundation that did tremendous charitable work around the world. And the same John Rockefeller continued to live for another 25 years. Now, this account is from the beginning of the last century. And today, the world has speeded up beyond everybody's wildest imaginations. Where to be effective at work, after every 1 hour you need to keep checking your WhatsApp for important messages and your emails and other instant messaging, and you are always bombarded from all sides. So the consequence is that stress has become a universal problem. Now that gives rise to the question, how to manage stress. The first time I was asked this question was in Chicago itself. This was in the year 2010. The IIT Alumni Association of Midwest in Chicago came to know that Swamiji is also an alumnus. They invited me for their monthly meeting. And I said, what do you want me to speak about? How to know God? He said, God, don't speak these old-fashioned things. Now, many of them were elder to me in age. They were all at the C-suite level. So then I asked them, you choose the topic. They said, speak about stress management. I said, all right, then if you don't believe in God, at least you believe in stress management. So I asked Mr. Google how to do stress management. And I came up with millions of websites. But the problem was that Not a single website was giving the proper answer. Today, if you change, people have been listening to the videos and you'll find a few proper answers. But that day, I promise, there was not a single proper answer. Somebody said do yoga. Somebody said do Tai Chi. Somebody said do meditation. Somebody said go for a nature walk. Somebody said just listen to slow music. All of these will naturally soothe the mind and reduce the stress. But they are only symptomatic. They are not going to the root cause. Like, for example, if you catch malaria in India, now you've got fever and that malaria germ inside. So if you take a medicine for the fever, paracetamol, the fever will go down, but the malaria remains inside. You need to take the chloroquine. Likewise, you do any of these, it's all great. But what is the root cause of stress? And that is when I went back to the Bhagavad Gita. Shree Krishna knows it all. And Shree Krishna had given the best formula for stress management 5,000 years ago. Karmanye vadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phala hetur bhurmate sangostu karmani. He says, look, Arjun, you do your duty to the best of your ability. The Gita is not asking you to abandon your duties. It is not a retirement plan it is offering. In fact, Arjun wanted to retire. And Shree Krishna said, Arjun, don't even think of any career changes. No matter how much you loathe this, just carry on. But you add spirituality the way I'm going to tell you. He said, look, the results are never in your hands. The results depend on so many things. Your efforts are one factor. The efforts of others, your supporters, your competitors. Now, if 10 people have applied for a job, it's not just your competence, but the competence of the others. And then there is the combined karma of the place. Your karma is being carried forward from the past life. Sometimes it is sheer chance. You were driving a car and some crazy teenager who had just got his license, he rammed into you even though he had a red light. Just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. Sometimes it is the will of God. So, Arjun, the only thing in your hand is the efforts. Right? So focus on the efforts, focus on the process, like Wilbur and Orville write. You do your best and leave to God all the rest.